All right, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Now, today we're going to be talking about this Texas Longhorns defense, and I'm sure y'all have heard a ton of praises from not just me, but everybody else about how elite this Texas defense is. It's Many are lauding it as the best defense overall in America, and that's been the case the entire year. I've been pounding the drum for how good this Texas pass defense is, that they're the number one defense in America in the pass, and it's time to recognize the rush defense. This rush defense, while last year was better, has not fallen off that far from last year. Last year was Texas was probably the number one rush defense in America. Most people, including me, were probably expecting a fall off of around Texas still being a top 25 rush defense, but they're not top 10, they're not top 5. This is a really really good Texas defense, and it's not just because of the pass. This is a very well-rounded Texas defense, so we're going to go over that today. If you like the video, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then comment down below your thoughts on this Texas defense, particularly in the run game. We're going to be looking at, let's just go ahead and look at, we'll start off with the first year of, let me see. There we go. So here we go, 2024. All right. This is a histogram of the Texas defense where they've held the individual rushes. So you see there are 4 rushes that have been held between -6 and -5 yards. There's only been one rush of 14 to 15 yards. So you kind of, each one of these little blue boxes represents one individual run, and you can see the range of they're in. Now this is not the entire chart. I just kind of have this to make it look a little bit cleaner right here. But if you go and you were to move this chart over, it's locked. You'll see that there's 2 more rushes. There's a 24-yard rush that Texas has allowed, and there's another 20-yard rush that Texas has allowed. And then here is over here on the side. There's what we're talking about for. Oh, well, it wasn't transitioned yet. So over here on that side, you got there's the number of rushes, 45. It goes 0 to 45, obviously, and then like you didn't get to see earlier, there's only 2 rushes that went over 20 yards. So this and really, if you look at it, there's only 7 rushes over 15 yards. So this Texas defense very, very, very rarely will allow a. Most people will consider an explosive rush 10 yards. Some people will consider it 15 yards. I still consider explosive rushes 10 yards or more. But I guess if you want to say these extra explosive rushes, Texas is not allowing these to happen. Texas is just stonewalling defenses, and particularly in the run game. So you can see right here, a majority of the rushes that teams are going on and getting on Texas, those are going to be 2 to 5 yard rushes. If you were to just look at the entire body of work that we have for Texas, this Texas defense rushes under 5 yards, so 5 yards or less, rushes under 6 yards, I should say, represents 73.3% of rushes that this team has given up. So only 26.7% of the time is the opponent, when they rush the football, are they going past 5 yards. That to me seems like some pretty good stuff. Now, like I was saying, how would this chart compare when we look at it in the comparing it to the 2023 season? Well, here you go. You can actually see not only has this team, it's a little bit weird because you can see right here, obviously, in the histogram, you look at where the 3 yard rushes. Last year's team held more rushes to under 3 yards. But they had a tendency to let up the big rushes. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rushes over 20 yards. Compare that to 2 rushes over 20 yards for Texas. And those 2 rushes, one against Florida, one against Texas A&M with Marcel Reed. Why is that? Why are there no what's the deal with the lack of 20 plus yard rushes? And I'll tell you, it's the Texas safeties. It's Michael Taft. It's guys like even a Jelani McDonald who's come in to fill in for Derek Williams, who is an amazing starter for us to start the season. You got Andrew Makuba coming in as well. These guys are, I've been calling this all year long, they're stop losses. Anytime a run breaks past 5 to 10 yards, they get stopped. Those safeties are stopping them. It is very, very rarely that you see a defender run past those safeties. And you can see that none other than the longest rush that they've had all year long on Texas is 24 yards. Last year's rush defense allowed 4 rushes over that yardage. And yes, the game down below there, that does include Washington. That is a little bit more, that's one more game than Texas has played, or 2 more games than Texas has played so far this year. But a key difference is because of how strong the rush defense was and how not, well, let's just say what it is. Let's call it what it, how weak we were last year in the pass defense. What you saw teams down there, they ran the ball a lot less against Texas. Now, I think that there's just I think when you want to compare the two teams to last year, yes, last year's rush defense with T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy, they were incredible at limiting teams to under 3 yards per carry. But once you got past that, it wasn't as consistent. You see it's really kind of cool to see like the drop off in runs for the Texas Longhorns in 2024. The defense rushes given up. You can see it's almost like stairs going down. As you add on one more yardage, okay, there's 2, 3, 4 less rushes for the opposing team in that category. So basically, what we're getting at here is this Texas team has an elite level of rush defense, and it doesn't stop just there. You go and you look at the quarterbacks. Look at what happened for Texas A&M. Okay, Marcel Reed is a dynamic rusher, dynamic runner of the football. Well, Texas. Sorry, I was just checking to see if they had something else. Texas only gave up 102 rushing yards last night, or not last night, Saturday, for 3.0 yards. 60 of those yards came from Marcel Reed. So that means you're getting 42 rushing yards from running backs and wide receivers, because they were using wide receivers as running backs because they have had Le'Veon Moss is injured. But I don't want to hear it from A&M fans about, oh well, Texas had an advantage because we lost a running back. So did we. We're pretty damn injured at the running back position too. Now, one interesting thing is you got Amari Daniels, 21 rushes, or 13 rushes for 21 yards, 1.6 yards per carry. Ruben Owens, 3 rushes, 10 yards, 3.3 yards per carry. We're holding running backs to limited yardage when they rush the ball. And really, I mean, honestly, the only running back that we really let run for us a lot on is there's 2 running backs off the top of my head. There's the Colorado State running back, who that was more volume that he got that, but then there's also the Florida running back. Now, there's probably one that I'm missing, but the point is that this Texas rush defense, for the most part, has held opposing running backs to very limited yardage amounts, and you saw that none other than last night. Not I keep saying last night, other than on Saturday, where you got Texas A&M, their running backs. Let me just go ahead and I should have had the math already done here, but you go and you look at this. Let's just go with their top 2 guys, okay? 31 rushes for 14 yards. I keep having it backwards. 14 rushes for 31 yards. Goodness. 2.21 yards per carry. It's We're getting to watch something special right now from this Texas rush defense. And you go and you look at this just real quick. This is what a complete defense looks like statistically. Now you look at this, Georgia matching up against us in the rush game. This is a very lopsided matchup for Texas, or for Georgia, I should say. They're not a solid rushing team. Now, part of that is because they've experienced injuries similar to Texas in the run game on the offense. But this Texas defense, they're top 10 in yards per rush given up. They're top 10 in 10-yard rush plays, which is explosive rushes. Only 6 explosive rushes, or 33 explosive rushes all year long. 103.5 yards per game. I expect I expect this number to dip below the 100-yard mark after we play Georgia. We're going to enter the college football playoff with a top 10 rush defense and a number 1 pass defense. I don't care if the opponent pass rating says we're number 2. We're just behind Notre Dame. And I don't care about the opponent 20-plus yard pass plays. We're right there behind number 2 and number 1 as well. This is the best pass defense in America. This is a top 10 rush defense in America. And when you combine the two of those things, what you end up getting is you get the best defense in America. Number 1 defense in America. This is why the University of Texas has such a high chance to win a national championship this year. You can forget about all the other factors. I don't care. Some people want to say, oh, Quinn is playing bad, all that. Screw that shit, okay? Even if Quinn plays bad, this Texas defense can go out there and win a national championship. So what does that mean for if Texas starts to play good with Quinn Ewers? And you start to see a high level of Quinn Ewers play. Personally, I think we've already seen it. I think we've started to see it the last few weeks consistently. Some people might have their disagreements on that. That's for another topic, another day. But what I'm saying is, if we get that, it's game over. You combine that with the number 1 defense in America. The only team that can go out there and beat Texas is Texas. So everybody, hope you all have a great day and enjoy this rush defense. Hook 'em.